without any scrap, let's start our video. So first of all, as thousands of video tutorials do, let's start with how to print a statement using Python. For that, we need a specific syntax to do that work. In Python, it is print. So let me show you how to type a statement to print something on the screen. That includes, we first have to type print, and we must include open and close parentheses aside of it, and we have to include our message within those parentheses, and those messages should be included within the quotation marks. So let me type Star Wars. As you can see, Star Wars is included within the quotations, and those entire statement is included within the parentheses. So let me run this thing to see what output it gives. As you can see, we got our Star Wars as printed on the screen. So now instead of double quotations, we can even use single quotations. So let me show you that thing first. Here it is. We got same output using double quotations and single quotations. But if we use different type of quotations in the same statement, it will throw an error. Let me show you that thing too. In the first of the Star Wars, I included a single quotation, and in the end of the Star Wars, I included a double quotation. So let me run this thing. See? So we got an error. So we must have to use same type of quotations both at the beginning and at the end of the sentence. Now let's discuss about data types. You can see enormous of data everywhere, in every application, in every website. You can see lots and lots of data. Those data are divided into types of data like integers, strings, decimals, and so on and so forth. So if you are learning a programming language, you must know how to deal with those data types. To know what type of data type we are using, there is a syntax called type to find out that. So let me show you that. As in the previous example, we computed a program to print Star Wars as an output. Now I'm going to type what kind of data type is that Star Wars. So for that I need a syntax called type. So I am including that print type of Star Wars. So let me run this thing. See, as you can see, we got class str as an output. That means Star Wars belongs to a class called string. So Star Wars is a sentence and it belongs to a data type string. So instead of Star Wars, let me try out putting a number. I'll keep, for example, 23. Let me run this thing. As you can see, we got output as class int. In the sense, 23 belongs to a data type named integer. So let me put a decimal in that thing. 23.4, let's say. Let me run this thing. As you can see, we got output as class float. So the decimal, all the decimal numbers belong to data type called float. Now let's discuss about variables. A variable is a reserved memory location to store values, to store and modify those values. For example, I want to store a number 23. I want a variable to store that number. I am choosing x as a variable to store value 23. So what I have to do is, I just have to give x is equals to 23. Generally in Java, C and C++, we have to indicate what type of data type we are assigning to that particular variable. But in Python, that data type allocation happens just like that. We don't have to specify what data type we are allocating. We just have to give the data to the variable, and the variable itself allocates its data type. Here I allocated x a value of 23. So let me try finding what type of data type is x. For that, what I have to do is print type of x. We know that x is storing the value of 23 and 23 is an integer. So now let's check what data type is X. As you can see, we got output as integer, and we never mentioned X supposed to be an integer in our program. So now instead of assigning an integer, let me put a string value in X. Star Wars. So let me run this again. As you can see, we got string as an output. So the data types are automatically allocated in Python. Make note of that. Now let's see how to print a variable. As you can see here, we allocated Star Wars to a variable named X. If you want to print Star Wars, you don't have to give print of Star Wars. You can just give the variable name instead of that Star Wars. That's the purpose of variable, isn't it? So let me put that thing in a program. I'll give print of X. So here X stores the value of string named Star Wars, and if you are going to print X, we must get the output as Star Wars. So let's check that out. As you can see, we got our output as Star Wars. We must be very cautious while printing values through variables. If we give X in quotations instead of X, it prints X itself. So let me show you. You would understand that clearly. Let me put another print statement below it. Let me execute this and show it to you. As you can see, we got two outputs for two print statements. In the first print statement, I included X within the quotation marks. In the second statement, I doesn't included X in the quotation marks. That means if we include anything within the quotation marks, Python will consider it as a string and it will print it as a string itself. As you can see, in the first line, I included X within the quotations and I got just X as an output here. Whereas in the second line, I included just an X within the print statement. Now Python will look for the variable which is named as X. As in our program, X is assigned to Star Wars. So therefore Star Wars is printed as the output. Okay, now let me show you a simple trick. What if you want print Star Wars 100 times? As the number is huge, we cannot type Star Wars 100 times. Let me show you a simple trick to do that. In Python, we can just give print X multiplies 100. Let me run this thing and show you the magic. See, we got Star Wars 100 times here. It's just a simple trick. Believe me, in Java or C, it will take 10 lines at least to execute this thing. We can learn about string and more about its properties in the future sessions. So that's it for now.